Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you back to another Monday stream here on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Of course, we are returning with round 2 of the Mini British GT 2026, our farewell letter to our old Italian friend, for which has hosted Mondays for years and years and years. And tonight we are at Oulton Park for what is absolutely positively going to be nothing but unadulterated carnage. My name is Jack Mays. Joining me for the first time in a hot minute, and an absolute pleasure to welcome him back to regularly scheduled streams and his beautiful, gorgeous voice, none other than Mr. Jesse Lee. Of course, we've got Ash Bibby in the box, our Monday champion, the true champion of all Mondays. Director, broadcaster extraordinaire. Jesse, we were briefly in the Monday Gang voice chat just before we joined into here, and we learned one thing. This race is going to be absurd. It's going to be absurd. Are you ready? Are you excited?
Yeah, hello, Jack. Hello, everyone out there watching on RCI TV across the multiple platforms. And Jack's right. We talked to a lot of the drivers leading into qualifying today, and I did not hear a ton of confidence that they were going to make it through these races. And that's right, races today unscathed. I heard sort of mild trepidation, I'll say, for today's race. It could be like that one episode of Futurama, Jack, you know, something, there were no survivors is what the drivers expect today. It could be carnage. I think we're going to have a lot of great racing in besides, of course, 2 30-minute races. The starts to these things are going to be absolutely crucial to victory, but some drivers' hopes are going to be dashed before they even complete a lap.
Yeah, we're well into the neck of qualifying, of course, with what I've now learned is the actual way the British GT runs qualifying, which is GT3 cars first. Everybody is actually starting their final laps. It's currently the young driver Adam Krexke at the top of the field, Andrzej Batek in second, Marco Badowski in third, and McKenna McConnell, cough, in fourth. And
God, she's so fast.
It's unbelievable, really. It's like, oh, driving with
she was a
someone else's
silver
hands,
driver when I left last year.
Unbelievable, but making their qualifying debut since, well, neither of them actually decided to qualify in Silverstone last week. It is Nico Kopu and Joe Dauber in 5th and 6th. Martin Lorink is, could almost claim on the back foot just a bit in 7th in their BMW. And let's watch these hands for a moment. Very fast. Look at those micro corrections mid-corner.
Well,
I don't know, it's something familiar. I was going to say, something familiar about it. For those of you who know, getting ready to come on through, and maybe a bit of improvement there. Really just, I don't think it's going to be improvement. It's just so close coming across the line, but no improvement there. But stays in 5th. Nico Kombu behind, backing out, it seems. Oh, needs no introduction, Jesse. The Jag.
Oh, it's a heck of a pick, but it's a fan favorite, and it's a favorite of all of us up here in the RCI booth, the Jag. And it may not be the quickest option, but it is one of the most stylish. GT3 qualifying is complete. No major changes in the final few laps there. GT4 qualifying now officially underway. Andy Boardman, the Greased Weasel 69 Aston, getting a good shake on there, trying to get some extra heat buildup in the tires, also trying to find a little bit of a gap. And I think that's going to be the topic of the day, partner. It is going to be all about finding some space, and in qualifying that is going to be very difficult because there are nearly twice as many GT4s as there are GT3s in this race. This track is going to be completely littered with that particular category here in qualifying. Finding that little bit of clean running is going to be important. I was just going to say Callum Kerrigan looked like they were in space until I saw the car just in front of them, illustrating my point at how compact everything is.
Yeah, it's not a super long circuit. It is also an incredibly skinny circuit as well. I mean, it is probably 3 cars wide most of the way, and you'd be like, that's super wide, isn't it? 3 cars, that's like a 3-lane highway. No, not even close. Most circuits are looking to be twice as wide as that, and this is a multi-class affair, so it's just going to be all about everybody sort of keeping their heads, everybody probably working together a bit. The good news is, with it only being a half-hour race, we're expecting maybe only one come through of the GT3s on the GT4s, but this man, Sebastian Picano, we're expecting to go rather quickly. They were our winner from last week, though there is a challenger. I've sort of been hearing whispers from other drivers, a certain gentleman by Nikolai Polyakov, who apparently is an absolute alien, is a wizard behind the wheel, and was very quick in practice, so we'll see as we're getting through to qualifying. They might set a time. Nope, they've started their flying lap in a astonishingly good sounding car, Jesse. Maserati Gran Turismo GT4.
Yeah, also a pretty wild pick. We, once upon a time, Jack, did a Maserati only championship, and it was a sight to behold. And again, everybody pulling out all the stops here for what could potentially be the final ACC championship here at RCI. And you got some drivers that are going for glory one final time, and you also have some drivers who are giving sort of, I would say, more special, more unique cars one final run. And you love to see it. Nikolai Polyakov doing exactly that in the Amarantio software number 40. I don't know if the livery is actually on that car, but never the mind. I did notice this a bit ago. The New Jazz Racing 100 Ferrari, driven by Clifford Morgan, has been disqualified. I don't know if that was a manual disqualification by one of our staff who saw them go out when it wasn't their turn, or if they've disqualified themselves. They have a time, so yeah. I'm imagining they posted a time and they were already disqualified at the start of the GT4 quali session. I'm willing to believe that Morgan went out with the GT3s and got themselves disqualified, which means for both races tonight, they will come from shotgun on the field regardless of where anyone else qualifies. Polyakov, I was just talking about taking the unique car selection, but it is not hindering Polyakov here up to P2.
Yeah, I sort of, when I found out this car existed, I had no idea this car was even around until this series was getting ready to go underway. I enjoy Maseratis as a car. I enjoy their engines especially, and when I found out about this car, did a bunch of research on it, asked everyone about it. I was like, what the heck is the deal with it? Fast, but tricky. No electronic aids, of course, can make things a bit of a handful. Unfortunately, underpowered as far as GT3 cars are concerned, but when with the lack of aero that GT4 cars have, it's going to be tricky all the way through. Callum Kerwin, I understand. So I spoke with both of them briefly. They said they had a plan. I'm understanding their plan tonight, Jesse. I don't know if you've noticed. They're in the exact same car, in the exact same livery, and they share a first name. It is entirely designed to hinder our abilities here in the box, but I'm a bit annoyed with them, I'll be honest, but it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
So you're saying that they're doing this on purpose, one final time potentially to mess with us here. Well, I will say it's an iconic livery, and there are a few in this race that are sort of RCI iconic, and the Callum Kerrigan livery that we're looking at right now has been sort of a mainstay for us in the last several years. And going out with a bang. Of course, for those of you that don't know what Jack and I are on about, I will very briefly explain. We have a Callum Kerwin and a Callum Kerrigan, both of which work on staff here at RCI, both of which race relatively close competition together, and now both of which are sharing a livery to mess with us up here in the booth. And it's working, because I lost the plot there,
confused.
realizing that we swapped cars while I was explaining that, and I didn't realize until the last possible second right there. It's absolutely working. Here's the Wheelie Slow team. Talk about iconic teams and cars. Wheelie Slow, I don't think he's ever driven the GT4 Mercedes before, but that livery, the Wheelie Slow blue and red, very iconic. I've even ran races in that livery as well here at RCI. But Kevin Boss putting on the livery and one last ride on the Monday champ as well. Mike Redford joined us in chat earlier, by the way, Jack. Just barely made it into qualifying, but here he is for the Mike Racing 95.
Yeah, and of course, I'm certain he was typing. He wasn't actively driving, but we know him as the wizard who can type while driving, so chances are he'll be chatting during the session, throughout the race, something of the like. But an icon of ACC Mondays as well is Mike Redford. Strangely, though, I say this as, you know, that's a livery we're used to seeing, but he doesn't have his championships on the roof like he normally does. So it feels like it's not quite there for him. Damon Wareham is also, there's several McLarens out there this time around. I've heard they're absolutely evil in a straight line. They're very, very, very quick, and they're coming through as well as qualifying's coming closer and closer to the end, but still a few more moments to go, a few more laps to come through. Bruno Fantazzi with TF Sport is coming all the way from Brazil, so Ping might not be on their side, and, well, they're not on the right side of the circuit because they are on the grass. But lots of drivers from all walks of life, from everywhere. So everybody coming out of the woodworks, Jesse, for sort of this final send-off. And like you talked about, a lot of drivers are taking the cars that they started in. I've heard that from a lot of people. It's like, oh, I'm driving the first car I ever competed in. That's why a lot of Ferrari 488s, a lot of old-gen Porsche.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And it would have been the M6 as well. It
would have been really good then, actually. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. Yeah,
and Kevin, I can say for sure, has not driven their Mercedes AMG GT4. He picked it simply because it's probably the only car he hasn't driven.
Well, if you're trying to complete your bingo card, right? You gotta go for all of them. Got to catch them all. But that's the thing about the Wheelie Slow Racing team. We've seen them race anything from the Mustang, the Camaro, to the Maserati, Lamborghinis, a lot. Things that would largely be considered unique or oddball picks, but that's sort of the thrill of it for a lot of the drivers that drive for Wheelie Slow, and Kevin Boss, who is the team leader there. So it is unusual, I think, for us up in the booth to see the Wheelie Slow team drive something that is pretty normal in retrospect, but considering they've already driven things like the likes of the Maseratis and such, it does make sense. Qualifying coming to an end. All flying laps will indeed count. Hello to Tim Peck, who's joined us in chat. Talk about people coming out of the woodwork. Tim Peck, hope you're doing well, buddy. And we've got Mrs. Crikey in chat as well. this week. Hello in, welcome in, as qualifying just about wrapping up. A couple of drivers still on a quick lap, not the one in front of Mike Redford, though. That will do it for them. Bruno Fantozzi coming through in the TF Sport livery number 51. What can the Brazilian do? Is that an improvement? I don't believe. Oh, no, it was, in fact, an improvement, but they did not move position. Callum Kerwin to the line. Same thing. Also an improvement on their time, but not good enough to move them up a spot. What can Mike Redford do, though?
Yeah, not a lot of big movers, and if I take a look, he is up on his time by a fair amount, about 3/10 at the moment. I can jump Redford up a few positions. We'll see if he can hold it through the final two corners, because of course the kink after the right-hander counts as a corner. By measure, he's still up. He lost a little bit of time. It's, I think, going to be enough for maybe a position for Redford. It is enough for a single position for Mike Redford, and that does bring qualifying to a close. And I will run you through the names now as best as I am able. After all, I'm from the US of A. Adam Krekske is on pole, the young driver coming in with a bit of a stunner of a lap, putting a huge margin between himself and Andrzej Batek just behind. Marco Badalski starting third for the second week in a row in the Audi Joe Dauber, showing that when he qualifies, he can qualify pretty well in fourth. McKenna McConnell, really quick hands and bringing himself up to fifth. Nico Kumpu, sixth. Martin Lorick in seventh. The M6 not really seeming like it's the favorite like it was last week. Emma Plate is in seventh. Thibaut Roskam is in eighth, Emma Plate's in eighth. Thibaut Roskam's in ninth, and Aaron Jackson 10th. Matt Malcolm 11th. Wojciech Rybecki in 12th. Will Stevenson in the Jag in 13th. Richard Whittle in 14th. Peter Varga 15th. And, of course, our disqualified Morgan, who will be starting from the very back. Moving on to the GT4 field. Nikolai Polyakov, living up to the reputation that I was basically informed of that they're quite quick, putting it on pole ahead of Sebastian Picano. Raphael Huel coming in from missing round one to putting it on the front of the second row in GT4. Andy Boardman, of course, a name we know all too well here on Mondays, is in fourth. Miso Stubna, fifth. Tom Winch is in sixth. Damon Wareham in seventh. Mike Redford, eighth. Henrik SC, again, the what Ted and I started calling our track day hero, because it's just a gray BMW, but I think it's blue this time, so they might have changed the color. Anton Klimov is next. Mario Sergio, Bruno Fantozzi, Callum Kerrigan, Tom Watts, Damian Lowe, Kevin Boss, Gianni Lenz, Tessa Thurbley, Sander Van Kouter, Callum Kerwin, Jacob Tucky, and Wojtek Newworth rounds out the GT4 field. And I think, Jesse, that might have been 8 different GT4 manufacturers in the top 8, which is one of my favorite things in the world. And
yeah, you know,
means greatness. Means greatness is coming in. Oh yeah.
Well, we're going to see that Maserati, by the way, on pole is more impressive than you might imagine. That's not necessarily the top pick. Doesn't look like we're going to have weather impacting us today, and that's completely normal in Britain. It never rains, so nothing to be worried about there. But today, and just as I say that, it has gone completely overcast. All jokes aside, this is completely normal indeed. Chris K on pole, Baddock on the outside of the front row, Badowski, Dauber. The list goes on. It's a who's who of GT racing here in RCI. And the further you go back, the names don't become any less rich. And of course, 2 different races going on, Jack, but the start of these things are always tight. They are always hectic. Let's just say, let's do a little role play real quick. If you've had a good round number 1 and you know you have 2 races to, let's face it, survive today, what's your goal if you are one of those that have to do something? Like if you are a Picciano, if you are a Martin Lawrence, how do you survive these opening laps of both these races? What's your goal? What's your strat?
I think Patience. Patience is gonna would be my word of the day. Though, once you, it's the funny thing is you can think before the race, but as soon as the flag goes green, as soon as the lights go out, kind of feels like everything goes out of the window because you put your foot down all the way down for the first time. You see everybody roar away, and you're like, "Nah, I'm gonna go for this," and just make silly sends. But I think patience is gonna be absolutely a virtue for the first. I'd say the first lap, definitely for the first couple of corners, and then as if you were a GT3 driver, as we say, Morgan's they're gonna have an exciting day. They're gonna have an exciting 2 races starting behind all the GT4 fields. But if you were a GT3 car, the first time you arrive to the back of the GT4 pack, you just need to make your moves clean. You need to make them clear. You're gonna need to take it fairly easy. I would definitely say, Jesse, but traffic management is going to be super important. It is a short race, but that also means twofold. You have less time to make your way up the field, and if you make a mistake, you have less time to make it back through. But I have to say, I think I said this last week, and I will probably say it every week until this championship concludes. It is so good to see a big, healthy grid of cars. I mean, just with the
so
drone
many
walking.
cars. It stretches all the way back down.
Oh, it's so great. ACC's back, guys.
Are they touching? I mean, they're through Deer Leap. I think they might be touching Lodge, actually, as far back as they go. So many cars here, so easy to get out of sorts. This is the one race on this long mini British GT calendar that I think a lot of drivers circled. That could be a potentially huge problem. The track is not wide. There's so many cars, different categories. Traffic will come into play by the end of it, even though it's only a short 30-minute race. Traffic will indeed become a little bit of a factor. And to add on to your point, Jack, what you were saying about strategy, there's only 2 positions on this track I want to be. I either want to be out front like Chris K is, or I want to be disqualified and all the way at the back like Morgan is. Those are the only 2 safe-ish places on this racetrack. Yeah, if you're in the middle, it is going to be rough indeed. It's going to be like navigating a minefield a little bit.
Oh, look at that Maserati snaking.
Just no traction control on that bad boy. You're doing that old school manual.
Manuel indeed, but everybody's roaring away for their formation lap, and I'm loving this scene right now. Best part is we get to see it twice. We get 2 gorgeous formation parade laps, and suddenly the GT3 car appears. But we're bookended by GT3s. I feel like there's no more appropriate sort of way that could go down than.
Well, then I have no. So Morgan's in a GT3 then. He's not in a GT4 car. So I thought they may have went out in qualifying with the wrong group. That tells me that something else led to the disqualification, whether they completely cut an entire section of the racetrack, which you can do here at Oulton. That will disqualify you instantaneously, or super speeding into the pit lane or driving backwards in the pit lane. Something of that nature could indeed disqualify them from qualifying. They don't get to keep their spot, so they will be a GT3 coming from the very back. That's very dangerous indeed. Luckily, rolling start here for everyone, but right now under the pace car, final jitters, getting them worked out, getting ready to go green here. Nowhere to hide at a racetrack like this. If you're unfamiliar with Oulton Park, well, you're about to get a crash course, no pun intended, on what makes this place so very very indeed. Well,
I was literally just about to say how long. I was gonna say, how long will the tire stack last? And it is, negative minutes. We haven't even started the race, and it's already out of the way. Everybody's sort of saying, well, you don't want to be the first one to hit it, maybe cause damage to the car. May as well do it in formation. Why the heck not?
I didn't know Aaron Jackson was in the GTR. I think that's very fitting for the Kaiju driver. Not driving for Kaiju in this race specifically, but will always be a Kaiju driver in my heart. And Aaron, I'm a huge fan of Aaron Jackson's car choice 99.9% of the time, and that extends into this championship as well. I'm not biased, but
no bias in the
There's so many
such a
cars.
it's such a long line. Ash in the booth. You guys can't hear him, but he's also marveling
Everybody,
with us.
take a deep breath. Inhale. Jack, take us away.
Okay, I've exhaled. I'm ready to go. We're just about to go underway for round 2, race 1. We're waiting for the green flag for the chaos to ensue. We are green flag and a great start from Andrzej Matek from the outside lane. We'll see a little bit of door banging in the entry, but actually mostly looking pretty clean from our pole sitter. I say that there's a jag off. I see a backwards car. I think we have a bunch of dust.
Is that Martin Lawrence off?
Maybe, possibly.
That might have been Martin Lawrence. I could have sworn I saw the connection lost livery, and I don't see the connection lost car coming through. It was Martin Lawrence. It was your championship leader off in turn number 1, all the way at the back of the field. Nearly everybody else making it around just about barely. But
yep,
Martin Lawrence off early.
Yeah, and Will Stevenson as well. I just saw him wide. He's now behind the pole sitter in GT4. You can see him there. We joke about it, the Jag is slow, but it's not GT4 slow. He's going to want to make his way up and past as soon as he can. But yet, mostly everybody made it through. And
I can't believe it, personally.
Lorik is back, and actually, well, no, he's still around. He's still in 7th position. So somebody else was amongst all of that. Sure, we'll have a replay or 50 of the first start. There we go. Rybecki, that's what you call Jesse. Absolutely right. The V12 facing the wrong way and taking onto the grass, Kevin Estra style. Hopefully you get the car slowed down, but I think just about held it. Everybody, whoever's in that AMG there. Oh, wait, there's a
Kevin Boss. Kevin Boss is off.
Oh, it's another bad start for Kevin Boss. Last week he had bad Druids. See how he looked, and he's just coming in. Everything's fine.
I think he just got
just slowing down.
Oh, you know what? How in the world did they keep it out of the wall and Druids? I'll never know. But the only damage done to the tires and potentially the position. But beyond that, that car not damaged, just cooked it a little too much coming through Water Tower into Druids that time, and I've done that myself on more than a couple occasions. McKenna McConnell in 6th place, looking to get by Nico Kumpu while trying to keep some of the other cars behind him. Martin Lawrence is up to 7th?
I think he's down to 7th from, did he start 6th? Did he start 7th? I don't remember, but he's roundabout where he started. I do believe, but looking to get up past the newer BMW. We've had a lot of new versus old already in round 1, and I like to, I think I made a couple of jokes about the old cars fighting each other as well. I like a bunch of old men getting far too drunk in a bar and getting into a fist fight while the youngins just watching. Here's the start for Wojciech Rybecki. When it went a bit off, it was just door to door and into the gravel, into the grass, and taking a couple cars with them.
That was a bit worse than I thought it was. So, by the way, I was incorrect. That wasn't Martin Lawrence in the connection. That's Rybecki. That's Wojciech Rybecki that had that incident. I'm so used to seeing some form of that car with Martin Lawrence. I thought it was Martin. It wasn't. Martin is fine. Martin did not have an incident. It was Wojciech Rybecki, and this is contact here. Kevin Boss against the 97 AMG on AMG, and Damian Lowe continues on. So does Kevin Boss, but it has been a frustrating start of the race if you are the wheelie slow 31.
Yeah, it's also frustrating if you're Richard Whittle, who's on the outside now of Damian Lowe. They got tagged when Rybecki went round. He went into the Jag and then back into the 488 driven by Richard Whittle. So he's now down directly in the middle of the GT4 package. Jacob Tucky. That's a tough place to be stopped. I think, I was going to say he's waiting. That was Tucky into the side of, that's the Brazilian driver in the Aston Martin. That's Bruno Fantozzi. But it was Tucky coming around the penultimate corner who came into the side of him. But it is, well, I was going to say it's really popping off, but I feel like this is exactly what we expected. Honestly, I think just about everybody who started this race is no retirements yet, which is a bit of a surprise. The other Wojtek, he's going a bit wide in the 63 Alpine. Was that an Audi, perhaps? Bit of door-to-door, bit of wheel-to-wheel, bit of taking the grass is not the right approach, Jesse, but Tom Watts already having a bit of a moment. Lots of Porsches around it. There's lots of Porsches, lots of McLarens, Jesse, but what there certainly isn't a lack of is Ashton. Clifford Morgan already just about to the front of the GT4 field, starting from the back, which is pretty impressive.
It is indeed. Of course, we are reading chat as per usual. Shout out to Uri Svinchek in chat as well, chatting with us today. In such a star-studded field, it's only right that Svinchek has their say as well on or off of the racetrack. And Tucky having that issue, but I think they did indeed continue. So no DNFs, like you said. And with all that done, we've only had 6 minutes of the race. But honestly, partner, it's kind of like you said, we kind of expected it to be chaos, but honestly, that was not as chaotic as I would have imagined it was going to be. I expected quite a larger dust up. What's happened here to Nico Kumpu coming into Shell Oils? Just a little tap, just a friendly little kiss. If this was BTCC, they wouldn't have even shown the replay because nothing happened. But this is GT racing, and it did, so we did.
Yeah, but Kumpu, of course, up and ahead, started behind McConnell, is now ahead. McKenna, though, trying to fight back, trying to find a way through, and it's just overtaking here is just difficult. There are really not a lot of opportunities. I say into Druids, maybe into Shell Oil if you get a run coming out of the first couple of corners, but it's you don't get up to an extremely high top speed. It's mostly low speed corners, low speed entries. You see these chicanes here. You're not fitting 2 cars across the apex, so overtaking is pretty much not going to happen. I say that, and the run is going to come to McKenna. A bit wobbly out of the first chicane was Nico Kumpu, but they're going to try it too wide into the chicane, a little bit of door-to-door, but McKenna on the inside keeps it and makes it through. Nico Kumpu back down to where they started, and a little bit of flashing, whether friendly or whether angry.
Big crash, Kerrigan.
Oh no, it's Kerwin. You got it wrong. They got you, Jesse. That's Callum Kerwin.
Oh
and
dear,
Kevin
I'm over
Boss.
2 today. Oh, did Kevin Boss take out? No, it was the other way around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Callum Kerwin gets loose in the first turn and right into the path of Kevin Boss. And the old Wheelie Slow logo used to be a sad tire, and I think that encompasses what's going on at the Wheelie Slow team. But huge damage for the Vulcan Racing Janetta, and they absolutely got me with the liveries. And all I'll say to both Callums is damn you.
Yeah, it's just going to be a bit trickier for one Callum than it is for another. Both regularly argue about whose name is spelled right and whose name is spelled wrong. And ultimately, if it's down to me to decide, it's whoever's with me in the commentary box, because I don't want to be mean to them. They both
a man of the people.
Occasionally come through, of course. This is Miso Stubna. Maybe a bit of contact with the 488. Just a little bit, but actually hangs on to it reasonably well. The grass not as slippery as it seems that I remembered it to be, but everybody hanging on. Stubna, of course, bringing back the Kermit Motorsport name. They were in the Cup Car Cup and pretty much every Monday champ previous, running the green frog-colored car, and is currently under a bit of pressure. 2 cars behind, Damon Wareham and Andy Boardman. Those are 2 names, 2 very fast names, so it's going to be tricky to keep them behind. But Stubna, I believe, is in 6th, possibly 7th position in the GT4 field. It is kind of hard to tell because Everything's a bit scrambled at the moment, so possibly on the podium. We do know one thing for certain, Jesse. Nikolai Polyakov is in the lead in absolute style. You can see on the track map to the right, nobody around. But this Maserati is not slowing down.
Yeah, the Armamentario Maserati out in front, and I said there's two places I wanted to be, shotgun on the field or out in front. Polyakov is driving away. Now they will be getting into considerable GT4 traffic here, and these drivers in GT4 are not necessarily going to pull over for the leader of the race because they are in their own battles. They will be shown blue flags, of course, but it's not Formula One. That does not mean get out of the way. It is more of a courtesy flag than anything, but RCI has its own rules about that. If you hold up a faster car under blue flag conditions for, I think it's more than a sector or two, actually I think it's an amount of corners, then you could find yourselves in trouble. The drivers will be mindful of that, of course. Another little shunt there, 3 wide in the middle of that chicane. Luckily, they were distributed equally throughout that corner. Marco Badowski, the Team Monkey car, continuing around without further incident. Mario Sergio, the 744. We have some nice Brazilian representation here in this championship that I'm not sure we've ever really had, which is weird considering this as an American, Jack. The Brazilian sim racing community is huge, but for some reason, commentators curse, by the way, for some reason, we've never really had a huge contingent of Brazilian racers here in RCI. We've had American, Canadian, Mexican, the lot, Argentinian, in fact, but not Brazilian, at least until this championship, where we have several in the field. Love to see that.
Yeah, and I think there's one more. We've seen 2 already today, and I remember a third name from last week's race. Maybe they aren't here this time, but we had at least 3 Brazilians. I think all 3 of them are in the GT4 field. Richard Whittle got ahead of Clifford Morgan. It looked like there was a little bit of maybe bumping that happened, but I know for a fact that a lot of the damage on that car is due to what happened in lap 1. Rafael Huel, who is the Porsche ahead, up to second, with Sebastian Picano really in the mirrors. We saw it just a moment ago, the beginnings of GT3s coming through, but I think those were mainly back markers. See what Huel can do under a little bit of pressure, but you don't have to defend very hard around Oulton Park. It's just such a narrow circuit, as we've been talking about. It's opportunities. It's really, ultimately, I'm not an Oulton specialist by any stretch of the imagination, but if I was in a position to overtake, if I was Sebastian Picano, it is all about getting in the mirrors and trying to force an error, because your best and safest bet for an overtake is if the driver ahead of you makes error. Unfortunately for Sebastian Picano, they've got Rafael Huel in front of them, which Huel is a excellent driver. That's Whittle, I think we just saw off there, and another car, I think, going into the gravel into the AMG, I think, for Martin Loring. A huge moment coming into Shell Oil. It's the Huracan that's round. Oh, it's a sad day for Lambo fans. The Jag is taking an alternate route into Shell Oil as well. This is a really bad place to be stuck. You have to be really patient about getting back onto the circuit. Emma Plate is the first to get moving of the bunch, but
oh my goodness,
really big incident.
Emma Plata is going to drive away, but with all of that loss, that's going to drop them all the way down to 12. That isn't exactly last in their category, but huge damage on that car. And the 97 now involved in their, I believe, their second sort of incident here, and they're still sitting there. I wonder if when we come back to live, if they'll be gone. I think they are moving in the 97. They are trying to continue on, but they sat there for a while, gathered their thoughts, and like you said, Shell Oils is not a place that you want to be backwards. I was worried that the track was was blocked there, and it was for just a moment. Is everyone trying to I see what happened there. Yeah, just everyone trying to navigate the slower traffic, Jack, and you just don't have time to react. It's an elbow corner, of course, and then you have to get it break down into Shell Oils, and everybody, of course, based on class and car, have a different braking point, and it just went wrong. It was just a mistake, and it all looked, Aaron off of the racetrack, kangaroo style.
More Estras on the fields, but yeah, no, that definitely what it looked like to me was that Martin Lorick was ultimately stuck right behind the GTR. The GTR pulls up. Oh, suddenly there's a GT4 right in front of me, and I have to react to that in basically no time. Honestly, it could have and maybe should have been a much bigger hit than it was. I think great reactions for Martin Lorick, and a bit unfortunate for those who were spun round, but it's beginning. It's beginning, and it has begun. We're at the halfway distance. You can see the blue dots are the GT4 on the track map. The gray dots are the GT3s, and you can see they're starting to mix. The blender, as it could possibly be, is beginning to spin. Here's Wojciech Rybecki. A little bit of a look there is Peter Varga, who's another one of those drivers who's driving the car that they started off ACC competition with before 8.8. Oh man, that V12 sounds really good in that Aston Martin. The Bathurst specialist, as I feel like it's known around here. But lots to see, lots going on. A couple of drivers, Nico Kumpu as well, having needed to pit because of damage. There are no mandatory pit stops, ladies and gentlemen. So nobody's expected to come down, and if they are, it's a huge hindrance to their race and possibly a race ruiner, Jesse. But I don't think it's going to be calming down anytime soon. I don't think we're going to be without incidents. And the best part, I think, this is race 1 of 2.
Yeah, of course, race number 2. I always say this, it seems to be a universal international law of these sprint races, where you have one race that is relatively calm and one race that is utter chaos. And I hate to tell everyone here that you're actually watching the calm race, but you are. This is a fairly calm race. Most of the incidents are sort of self-contained, 1 or 2 cars. I think race 2, everybody is going to be absolutely going for broke. The several drivers who have had a frustrating race number 1 are going to come in a little hot. And oh my goodness, the old chrome horn, Dale Earnhardt in the number 31 AMG. Where'd he come from? Down into Shell Oils. But yeah, that again, that's a very BTCC thing to do. Gotta love some nice touring cars around Oulton Park. That's all I think about when I think of Oulton Park is touring cars ripping around here. And wow, speaking of touring style cars, here is Henrik in the 67, trying to do their best to stay in front, but they won't. The 45 will get by. Where's the 45 come from? Is that a GT3 car?
That is a GT3 car, my good man. That's the Audi of, I believe, that's Mr. Badowski.
Yeah, I try to judge the car based on the wang, and on that particular car, for whatever reason, on the Audis, for whatever reason, it's hard for me to judge.
It's not as pronounced as something like the Lexus, because look at that wang on the Lexus. Yeah, massive diffuser as well. This is Andrzej Batek from second. Krekske is all but walked away. It seems the leaders in both fields have this well and truly under control. Oh, that burp of flame out of the side pipes.
Oh boy. Drive-through penalty for track limits for Raphael Huell.
That's really huge. That's gonna, put him back from sitting in second to, well, he's probably gonna drop down into. Hopefully, he'll stay inside of the top 5. Richard Whittle's been a very popular sight in race 1. Unfortunately, not for his heroics on track, but for the hand he was dealt at lap 1. He was backwards, slowly making his way through the field. And did he have a little bit of a bump, maybe, with the GT4 leader? Was it all smooth and clean, beautiful and gorgeous? I think what that was is the registering a overtake because after all, that was for an overall position. So,
Well, he deserves it. I talked earlier about sort of mainstays here at RCI, and the Whittle family is certainly that. So we'll get the Whittle's Wizards car on screen. That's Ferrari doing an overtake. Richard Whittle, of course, so many memories here in Monday Champ with the family. And Richard taking us out for this championship. Of course, this is just round 2 of what? There's 8 or 9 rounds of this championship, and I think that was Mike Redford.
That was Mike Redford. He's off. He's gotten back going again. The McLaren having an issue, but fortunately not into a barrier. Got a replay of when
They're just
going
going
to
lose it here.
Oh yeah, just coming up off the apex curve, really bouncing around and manages not to touch the wall. Very well done by Redford, but certainly losing a couple of positions as a result of what we just witnessed. And here's we're about to see a Maserati come through. But here's Redford, and here's the Jag of Will Stevenson. He's not had a good race, as good of a race as he did last. Well, actually, you're right. Well, it's fair. He's
top
inside
10
the top
in the
10.
Jag at this racetrack. I'd take anything but a DNF. I'm not particularly picky, but for Will Stevenson, I would say this is pretty okay. I think they can stand to gain another place here in the late going, and maybe even do a little bit better in race number 2. But I drive the Jag.
You're already winning.
Will Stevenson absolutely winning in the 108 here. But yeah, top 10 in this car. I mean, if you're Matt Malcolm, who's right behind them in the 199 Porsche, do you pass Will Stevenson, or do you just stay right behind them and enjoy the engine note of that car for a while? I wonder what Mr. Malcolm will indeed do. Stuck in a little bit of GT4 traffic here. You'll notice the different wang size that I was talking about, and that usually that helps you determine what class it is if the cars look quite similar indeed. A bigger wang, usually faster class, more aero kit and all that. But for some cars, it is somewhat harder to tell indeed. But you can see it illustrated by the Porsche right there as the GT3 traffic does make their way through. Kreske leads Baddock over Badowski, McConnell, Lawrence, your top 5, Jackson, Roscombe, Dauber, and are the next several cars as the GT4 field continue to mix it up here. They've been lively today, haven't they?
Absolutely. They were lively last week. I think we're expecting good things from them throughout the season. It seems to be, well, in terms of signups, dead even on popularity. I think the GT3s might have filled up first, but in terms of who's showing out in force, it is the GT4 drivers. Viso Stubna is down and out. There's Callum Kerwin, the Callum with a C.
Gone wrong there.
He's in pit lane. He's just gone to a couple extra laps down. Kevin Boss is now going to come down pit lane. He's had a
Van Counter also with a penalty as well. These are drive-through. Keep in mind, no live stewarding here in this championship. So these penalties are ACC assigned, and during a race, there's really only one way to get them, and that is track limits violations. You get 3 freebies, and on the 4th time asking, you get an automatic penalty. So 3 cars have been given penalties. Callum Kerwin's in the pit lane. I wonder if that's been involved in a crash, because again, no mandatory stops in today's race either, as we see a GT4 Porsche. I think that's the 111.
That's sucky.
It's gone wrong. It's gone wrong. The car had already had an off. It's having another one. It's been moved off the racetrack, the 118. Oh, dear. And that's how quickly things can change.
Yeah, that was Henrik SC, the track day driver, as Ted and I were referring to them last week. We'll see what maybe caused Tucky to... Oh, that's maybe a slight misjudgment there. Going for a gap that was probably going to close. I think that's Nico Kumpu, it is, who was going through. And see the other side of that. Tucky comes back onto the circuit and just he goes onto the racing line and realizes, I'm going too slow. There's a car coming. Let me move out of the way. But them and the BMW both kind of reacted at the same time, reacted in the same way. Tucky, of course, spoke to them before the race, not feeling super confident, but I said, work your magic, which Jacob Tucky's magic is always finishing the race. So even with this level of limping back to pit lane, Tucky's going to get this thing fixed, going to get this thing back out on the circuit, is going to cross the line. Such is their style. But not going well in race one. We got a little bit of 2x2 in the background. Actually,
look at these. Look at this. Martin Lawrence and Aaron Jackson racing each other in two dinosaurs of race cars. We'll just say. This is incredible. Two machines that could not really be more different. The only thing they have similarity is in size. Aaron Jackson for Kaiju has caught Martin Lawrence. I also erroneously reported that Jackson was not racing for Kaiju in this championship. It turns out they are indeed, as I just saw the team placard. They're just not in a Kaiju sort of, well, I guess they kind of are as well. But nevertheless, it is a race for 5th place in the dying embers. 4 minutes left to go. It is GTR versus BMW. Jack, what year is it? Oh, no! Oh, no! Commentators curse again in the same corner.
Jesse. Yeah, same corner again. I think.
Oh, no. What is going on in Britain's?
I think it would be about 2016, to answer your question, would be the year. But that's Timo Roskam, who has gotten through on Aaron Jackson. A fight for 4th has now become the fight for 6th. Jackson is hoping to bounce back. I love the idea of Kaiju racing and driving the car, often the racing versions of Nissan GTRs that are known as Godzilla. So very fitting. Very, very fitting.
I don't know for sure, but I actually think that's where the team name either comes from or maybe it was just a funny joke, because I think one of the first races Kaiju ever did was in the GTR, and I believe at the time, it tells you how long ago this was, I think the GTR was viable back then. It wasn't meta or anything, but it was a viable car. And not saying that it isn't now, as you can clearly see before the off, Jackson was threatening the top 5, but even more so back in the day. So I don't know, chicken and egg situation, but I do know that the GTR, whether by design or by circumstance, was one of the first cars they ran in races. And one other thing that Kaiju does, while we're on the subject, sort of a victory lap this championship for a lot of teams. Kaiju always comes out with these really great liveries. Sometimes they're in jokes, sometimes they're parodies, and they're always entertaining indeed. Meanwhile, GT4 action coming at you right here, close quarters racing inside the top 10.
Yeah, we got the AMG GT4 just ahead, sort of taking a trip through the grass, but Henrik SC, after the issues with Tucky a few moments ago, falling back just a bit. Mike Redford found his way up the inside, and I think he's going to maybe try to go around the outside of the Ginetta, though I don't think he's absolutely alongside.
Also, they got to
around
figure
the
this out.
outside is Redford on Huel, or excuse me, on Winch is in the Ginetta behind, and
that was some professional racing right there.
Absolutely. That was leading me to believe that the AMG is not racing these 3, but Henrik SC, the track day hero, bouncing right back and bouncing over the curves as these cars have been doing all race long. Nico Kumpu is making their way up. That was a huge drift.
Oh my God.
Out of Lodge. That was incredible.
That was immense.
Wait a minute. Is that oh no, excuse me. I thought that was Polyakov re-overtaking for the lead of the race. No, I think they are well ahead of that Alpine that they just overtook. On the rebound racing, Nico Kumpu having to pit in earlier on, Jesse, is just trying to scrape something together in the final moments of the race.
Yes, indeed. Here we go. Kevin Boss again, working the 25. There's going to be contact. There's going to be a spin. And I think the Porsche is going to recover, but damage done there. Kevin Boss has had, I would say, the lion's share of the calamity here in race number 1. Haven't missed anything out front. Krexke continues to lead Badowski. McConnell now up to 4th. She is absolutely flying. Martin Lawrence was released from Jackson after Jackson drove off the track. Theobald Roscom now up to 6th. Here is Jackson trying to get back by Theobald Roscom as time is about to expire. This will be the final lap they're about to start as the leader of the race is down into turn number 2. So here is Adam Krexke in the number 15 leading and coming to get the checkered flag for the win. Good racing here, close here for 3rd, Badowski and McConnell.
I have to say, McKenna McConnell has basically been staring at the back of somebody this entire race. If it seemed to be, I think it was either Dauber or Kumpu before, might have been both, and now it's Badowski. McKenna McConnell has not been outside of, I would say, about half a second's worth of a car since we went green, but I don't think there's really any or many opportunities left on this last lap. Timo Roscam seeming to hold off Aaron Jackson for the moment, but has found himself right up the back of
we're not done here.
Lorenk. We're not done here at all. Miso Stubna, I guess, and Lorenk is off the road. He's going to come back on, diving down the chicane. To see where and
now,
why
was there a contact that led to that, or was that just a misjudgment by Lawrence?
I think.
He got over the curb. Just a misjudgment. But you know what, though? They exit the same way they came in, and you could articulate that they wouldn't have been able to make an overtake anyway. But Adam Krexke winning the race, round number 2, race 1 here at Oulton Park. This battle's going to continue. They're going to come off the final corner side by side. Aaron Jackson goes for a wild one, gets back onto the racetrack. They'll lose positions down to 8th. Several cars through. Dauber and Roscom 6th and 7th. My goodness, that was close.
Oh, it was really, we thought that maybe there was going to be a bit of a quieter finish than there was to the start, but no, just as loud, just as wild, just as great. A little bit of
Have you forgot what series this is? This is Monday Champ.
Never,
this is Monday Champ. This is Monday Champ on RCI. And by the way, we thank you all for being with us on a Monday evening. We hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world, and we of course, appreciate you coming to hang out. Polyakov, by the way, has won it in GT4. Don't want that to get lost in the melee. Boardman and Raphael Huell still yet to come to the line, and that's because they're doing this.
Yeah, they're going to go too wide in a large corner, and it looks like they might be dead
he's
equal.
Going around the outside. He's going
I
around
think he
the
might
outside.
actually do it.
Raphael
Huell's done it.
He's going to get it done.
Wait, did Boardman run out of fuel? Boardman's going really slowly.
Oh, you're right, partner. You're right,
I think
partner.
Andy Boardman ran out of fuel on the last corner.
He either ran out of fuel or admitted defeat. I don't know.
Wait, Winch has run out of fuel too.
They are running out of fuel. You're absolutely right. That's what's going on here.
Oh my goodness.
Scenes.
It's at the very end. We have enough fuel. Never mind, we're going uphill. We've run out of fuel. But Miso Stubna, under their own power, lasts across the line in race 1. But no, it will not go out with a whimper.
Goodness.
It will go out with a scream. Best possible scenario. We got one more, but Adam Krexke is going to take victory in race 1. Batek is going to take 2nd place. Badowski 3rd. McConnell 4th. Lorenk 5th. Dauber 6th. Roscom 7th. Aaron Jackson will take 8th. Will Stevenson, top 10 for the Jag. He didn't run out of fuel this time. That's the important thing. He got his fuel calculation right. Matt Malcolm in 10th. Emo Plate 11th. Right, Becky 12th. Varga 13th. Morgan 14th. Whittle in 15th. And Nico Kumpu, I would say, a disappointing 16th for them in the GT4 field. Polyakov from green to checkered. Absolutely in control of that race. Absolutely doing brilliant work. Raphael Huell, final corner, final lap, getting back up to 2nd position on Andy Boardman, who we can only assume ran out of fuel. Boardman takes 3rd. Redford takes 4th. Henrik SC up to 5th, the track day hero. Schaefer in 6th. Klimov 7th. Winch 8th. Stubna 9th. Callum Kerrigan rounds out the top 10. Watts is in 11th. Sergio 12th. Wareham 13th. Picano 14th. Fantazi is in 15th. Lenz 16th. Kevin Boss, very busy race for him. Very fraught with difficulty, I would reckon. In 17th. Van Cauter 18th. Thoroughly in 19th. Low 20th. Tucky 21st. And Callum, Kerwin, and Neworth rounding out your bottom position. So I don't know if Neworth actually took the green flag. They may have actually been the only retirement of the race. Possibly. But
Well,
Jesse, we're gonna do it all again. We get to
y-
catch our breath for a few minutes. We get to do all that again.
oh man, that's what I'm doing. I'm sitting here and I'm catching my breath. I was standing up a moment ago. That finished Raphael Huell around the outside. Aaron Jackson thinking about going three wide, nearly running out of did run out of space, ran off into the grass. That's what makes this type of racing so incredible. Nearly three wide on a couple of occasions, coming to get the checkered flag here in race one at Oulton Park. Don't go anywhere. Still got one race left to go tonight here from Oulton Park. That's race one done. Race two, we're going to line them up again based on how they qualified. And they're going to do it one more time. 30 minutes to close out round two of RCI's Mini British GT 2026. And wow, what I will say, we've had the round one a week ago, of course, and race one of round two already. And I'm already looking at the points partner, and that race has changed everything.
Oh, I can only imagine. I haven't done the math. I stay away from math. It's bad for my health. But I can only imagine what it's done. I would imagine we will probably have a change for championship lead in possibly both fields if things are going the way they're going, and a whole shakeup all the way through. Drivers doing much better than they did in round one. Drivers doing much worse, but everything is all coming to a head in round two. The beauty is a bit of an extra long championship, as you said, 8 rounds and multiple different formats. We have hour-long races, we have 90-minute races, and of course, we
Mm.
have the double 30s. But everybody is going to take their
Oh
moment.
my
All the
goodness.
drivers. I feel like they probably sweat a bit more than we did. But I have to tell you, I'm a bit warm
I'm
sitting
not
here.
sure. Yeah,
I
I'm not sure about that. Most of the time I would say that's absolutely true. Right now, I'm not entirely sure that is true. I am sweating and I was standing up, I'm sweating. Shout out to Svencheck in chat keeping us updated, confirming that a couple of drivers did indeed run out of fuel. That is absolutely crazy that they were that close indeed. The extra lap, by the way, Chris K got the line with like 7 or 8 seconds left to go. It was like sub 10. So basically, what that does is create an extra lap. And if you fueled for not plus one lap, which I always tell everyone to do plus one lap, um, then that could have been an issue. And I think it might have been for some of the GT4 class as they were trying to predict how many laps the leader would indeed do. Um, yeah, Svinchek also saying that I said that that was the less chaotic or the chill race, and we're going to have a chaotic race. I'm going to stand by it. I'm going to stand by what I said. I think that was the calm race. I think we're getting ready to have the chaotic race, and I think it's going to be tenfold on top of what we had. Also, I have just been notified. Caleb Kerwin, remember, they were in the pit lane for some time, but they didn't have a penalty. Turns out they had a mechanical issue, a pedal box issue, and that's what brought them to pit lane. I think they did finish the race. They did get back out there once they sorted the issue, but that was why they sat in pit lane for a couple of laps. 2 minutes until we do it all again, Jack. Takeaways from race number one. What are you looking for in race two?
extra lap of fuel. Number one.
Okay,
Number
smart.
two. I mean, I would say be more careful, but ultimately, I don't even know how most of them managed to finish that race. Like I said, I think only a single retirement, if any, but just about everybody got through in their own unique way. Some of them taking unique lines, shall we say, through corners, maybe playing fiddle with the track limits. I think a lot of drivers maybe hopefully learned their lesson. I think that's one of the takeaways for sure is, uh, well, don't cheat, I guess. It's a bit tricky in ACC. There's no sort of chance to. It's not like the new favorite Le Mans Ultimate where it will give you a warning of, hey, you have cut the circuit, give up the time, please, and we won't give you a penalty. ACC is you've done it, you're booked, you're going back. Is interestingly a certain someone is at the back of the grid. I'm not sure why Will Stevenson is now at the back of the grid. I'm not sure if he did that intentionally. I'm wondering because I
He
feel
might
like he
have
may have.
asked for it.
That I'm wondering if maybe you leave the session and rejoin, it kicks you to the back.
Uh,
Hmm.
it may do. He may have also requested that. Kevin Boss, the event organizer, is in the race, and not only that, is in I believe voice chat with Will Stevenson. So maybe it's not unheard of. It has happened before. You got to catch the event organizer on a good day when they're in a good mood. But sometimes they will allow you to go to the back. But I also wonder if maybe Kevin Boss didn't do that, and what you are talking about occurred, because I would say putting a GT3 behind the GT4 field would be dangerous, and I'm not sure Kevin Boss would allow that. So now that I'm on that train of thought, I think that what you said is actually the more likely of the two options that they have left accidentally and ended up at the back. So Will Stevenson will have to come from the very back of the field in the Jag.
He decided
that
his
will
race
further
wasn't exciting enough, which is
Well,
unbelievable.
you know how whenever you're trying to, when you're playing like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, right?
Sure.
And you want to make it more difficult, so you pick the class that has no stats, no armor, none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's playing the game on hard mode, is what he's doing here. Chris K, winner for race number 1, will take us to green for race number 2. Polyakov will do the same. The difference is Picciano will hope for a better finish this time around, and so will some of the other drivers indeed. If you're Aaron Jackson for Kaiju, who's driving the Sinless GTR, by the way, which is, again, another in a great list of excellent liveries by the Kaiju team. Do you feel hard done with the way race number 1 ended for you, or are you happy that you ended up a net positive anyway?
I think you'd be happy with gaining some positions, but I think given that Aaron was pushing to gain further positions, get up to the top 4, maybe even challenge for a podium, I think there's going to be hopes that greater things could come in race 2, might come in race 2, and Jesse, I'm going to take a quick moment because knowing what the race we just experienced is, there's going to be no time for this at any other opportunity. So I am going to go through and thank some of our partners here at RCI because I'm famous for forgetting and I don't want to forget. And I want to focus on the amazing race we're about to experience. So I'll go through and thank the people that help us here at RCI, help us keep the lights on. And we will start with Ready, Set, Sim. If you're looking to build a new sim rig, whether it is the one you can afford, whether it's the one you've been dreaming of, head over to Ready, Set, Sim. Their rig builder will have you sorted. If you're not sure what kind of new direct drive hardware you're looking for, might I recommend our partners and friends over at Moza Racing. High quality, extremely well priced sim gear that will keep you sorted, not just for sim racing, but for trucking, for flight sim. They've got lots of stuff coming out every single week, and it's all wonderful from them. Coach Dave Delta, if you're looking to get quicker on the track, if you're looking to climb that sim racing ladder, excuse me, faster lap times begin with Delta. Their setups, their coaching will get you sorted. Greenman Gaming, if you're looking for deals on PC games, including hot new releases, head over to Greenman Gaming. They have all kinds of specials all the time. I check back with them regularly and love a good deal. Love saving a few bucks. Pimax is our partner with VR headsets. They're wonderful. We have an exclusive discount code with them. And special final thank you to Motorsport UK. Jesse Lee, take us away.
Chris K on pole position. Bannock will share the front row. It was a clean getaway for the number 15 McLaren last time through. We'll see if it happens again. It's a more even getaway. Baddock on the outside hanging there, but the inside will prevail. A little bit of a wiggle. Several cars touch as they go through Old Hall. Now they go down into Cascades. Switch over back to the outside again. It's Baddock still fighting. Krex K won't be able to do it. It's another fantastic start for the number 15 McLaren. Baddock, Badowski, Dauber all in line. 5 or 6 of them in straight order before they get to double file. They've got to get it sorted out before they get to this corner. Shell oils, and they have done. That was a very, very nice start. Formation driving almost. A few knocks and dents, but other than that, they've all just about made it. And that includes the GT4s. Just about all single file. That was an excellent start. That's exactly how you draw it up. And they're all away racing without any major incident.
That's unbelievable. Really talk about learning from experience. Everybody knowing what they need to do to end up getting around. And honestly, I don't think that anybody will actually see from back in the GT4 field, maybe a few knocks and scrapes, but nothing to say. There's a Porsche going a bit wild there on the outside, but everybody managing to make it through, most of it 3 wide for the first couple of corners, and staying restrained in the first few so that now chaos can ensue. A couple more replays, I'm almost sure, of the opening moments. 2 Maseratis wide, and what's Clifford Morgan in the 488 who's just getting all in wrong kind of shape. It's really difficult, Jesse. Like you said, maybe a bit dangerous to have a GT3. That was Kerwin that went wide. But
I think that's his pedals again. I think his pedals have gone.
Oh no. Hope not. He's stationary for the moment. I think he just returned back to the garage. Yep, I know Callum has just gotten his rig set back up. He's just gotten back to racing after a long time away. And I think, unfortunately, maybe still working out some issues, maybe realizing that some stuff doesn't work quite as well as maybe it should. But Jesse, talk about a picture-perfect start from this entire field. The maturity. I've always said you've got some great drivers on this. That proves it. And a lot of new names, old names as well. Everybody coming back and coming together to put through possibly the cleanest lap one you could hope for around this circuit.
I hope that this gets replayed until the end of time about how good that start was. Yes, there was some beating and banging, but as my mom would say, the cars have fenders for a reason. And she never said that. She didn't like racing. But the point is that it's not formula racing. You can get your elbows out a little bit. And if you want a textbook of how to start a race with this many cars, 35 plus cars in 2 different classes around one of the hardest tracks, I can't stress that enough, one of the hardest tracks in motorsports to race on, that was absolutely textbook. And my hat's off to every single driver for keeping it together. Krex K leads over Baddock. No change there. Polyakov, Picciano, first and second in GT4. Picciano has had a way better start to this race. That was exactly what the doctor ordered. And they've dropped what looks like Boardman just a little bit, nearly 2 seconds the gap down to third in GT4. Shout out to Carlos Kilati in chat, talk about a mainstay of RCI, apparently recovering from a wrist injury. Hope that goes well for you and you recover very speedily indeed. Special guest as well in the box, freshly retired Callum Kerwin. What on earth's going on with the pedal box?
So sometimes the pedals just don't work. So I'll be driving out of a corner and I'll click the upshift paddle and it just does nothing. And I thought, rather than try and drive around it, which the only solution is to take the wheel off the mount and then put it back on again, I thought I'd just jump in it. It was happening in the first race. It's sort of why I spent some time in the pits in the first race. And I thought I might have solved it. It worked for a couple of laps, and then yeah, it was having the same issue, and I thought it would be a bit too dangerous. I already had a few sketchy moments in the first race of trying to let people pass safely, and yeah, I did warn the guys. They were quite receptive in the voice chat that they have, and yeah, unfortunately, it means I have to be in here. No, I'm glad.
Unfortunately, whoa.
Unfortunately.
What's wrong with us, man?
Well,
it's
let's
very rare to get a chance to race, so I thought I'd
yeah, I
try
was going
and
to say,
take it.
don't take it personal. What would you rather do? I completely understand. Callum, I am going to have to lambast you a little bit. Why have you decided to be but and run the same exact livery and car as the other Callum? Now I'm not a smart man.
Other
but
Callum's
I
getting his
would
elbows
imagine-
out.
But I would imagine you've done that on purpose, just like that pass in Lodge by Callum Kerrigan, not
move.
Callum Kerwin. It's a different Callum. It's the same car.
Oh,
It's
Kevin
good
Boss.
with zero sugar. Kevin Boss and Callum Kerrigan getting side by side in touchy-feely. Oh, and it's going to be a bigger shunt. Oh, this is going to end very badly.
Oh, wow. How did
that
he
was
avoid that?
unbelievably close to a massive
my.
accident. Some
The
words are
missile
being
knows where it
exchanged.
is.
Oh my lord. That was unbelievable. That was such good, hard, maybe too hard racing. Callum managing to just fit in a gap that basically wasn't there, but of course coming back onto circuit, still keeping his elbows out. He said, I may have lost a couple positions, but I'm going to keep racing. That was
I didn't hear no bell.
I didn't hear no bell. This is Callum Kerrigan, but I can almost say assuredly some words have been exchanged between.
Do you know what the crazy
Kerrigan
part
and
about that
Boss?
is, though? Those are longtime teammates, Kevin Boss
Yep.
and Callum Kerrigan.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
they're very actively chatting in the Monday chat with each other while they were going around anyways before I retired. And
Oh my goodness!
I'll be interested to see what happens after that. But I don't think
is
Kerrigan will be
friendship?
too frustrated.
Have we just witnessed the friendship end? Kerwin, is that what I'm hearing?
No, I don't. I think Kerrigan will take that as it is, which is just a mistake from the two of them. I had a very similar incident with Kevin in the first race as we were both sort of recovering, and you know, all's fair in love and war, and maybe it was a bit much, but these cars are very slippery and very difficult over the curves, as we found out. A couple of us found out the hard way in the first race, and it just means that when you've got cars side by side and you're battling that closely, that it just breeds incidents, especially around here. As you said, you were surprised at how clean the first lap was. We all were as well. We were all sort of, I mean, poor Will Stevenson got sent to the back after a disconnect, and I don't think anyone ever hopes for crashes, but Will was quite disappointedly saying, of course this is the time where none of the GT3s have any incidents. It's the time where I have to start from the back in a Jaguar. But he's making his way back through the field. He's up to 14th now as he avoids the tyre barrier that got killed on the formation lap.
As always. No, I was actually very, very impressed. We were slowly watching him wake his way through. I think it really only took him maybe a lap or two to get past the GT4s, and on this circuit, in that car, not an easy task. But so you're telling me that it was not intentional, because we were maybe thinking that Will did that on purpose for a little bit of fun. So did he actually have a genuine?
No, it was a genuine disconnect.
He has had that happen in the past. So now that I think about it, I definitely recall that being a fairly consistent thing that does occur to Will Stevenson. I remember on, I think, 2 occasions where he was leading in races and he disconnected.
It was is everyone else just disconnected and everyone went no, and then Will just sounded sad. And then Kevin told him that means he'd be put back, and then he sounded even worse. But he's making his way back through. He's making a race out of it.
He's done an excellent job. He's only 1.5 seconds behind. He's not even last in his class. Morgan last in the GT3 class, so he's made up 1 position, and he's very quickly catching the rest of his class. He could still get a top 10 out of the day. You know what? And I will say, I'm one to always admit when I'm wrong. I have a wife. I don't have a choice. But I will admit that I'm wrong on this instance. I thought this was going to be a chaotic race, and it hasn't been. This has been just an excellent by-the-numbers sort of affair. Some really good racing going on. We saw 3 wide in Lodge. A couple of incidents, sure, but you're going to have that in any motorsport. This particular race has been absolutely exquisite so far. I'm happy that we have 20 more minutes. There is a car stopped in Druids, by the way. That's the 118.
That is just Kentucky.
Yeah, and that would be why they're stopped. Now, how on earth did you end up stopped there? That's the inside of Druids, isn't it?
That's going to be very frustrating for all the drivers as well, because that Sunoco board is the brake marker for the corner for the GT3s and GT4s. It got taken out in the first race, much to many screams, as people went through and realised that their braking marker had been completely deleted. But that is the brake marker for, well, as you say, Jack, it was the brake marker. But,
he got our names wrong. He got us mixed up. We've won. We've won. We've won, Jesse. We did it.
I would like to say,
curious,
oh dear.
Did you mix either of us up?
I didn't. But
I also didn't. Don't go back and watch the. Don't go back.
I'm gonna definitely go back and watch it. So delivery had its intended target, because I did tell you, Jack, that me and Kerrigan had something special planned for you two.
And I spoke about that plan.
Yeah.
When I realized what had happened, because Ash was switching cars, and it took me a minute to realize, oh, that's two different people.
Plan executed perfectly. Unfortunately, the race didn't quite go to plan, but Kerrigan's looking up behind the Maserati. That's Klimov in the 486, I think. Dropped back a bit through the bottom end of Cascades, coming up towards Island, but still trying to make a bit of progress through after those struggles, should we say. Oh, Maserati's off wide. That's not going to be ending well through there. He'll have to try and fit it through the gap, which he does well. Luckily, no one behind, so he can rejoin safely, which is important. But Kerrigan gets that car out of the way, and he'll now work on chasing down the Porsche ahead of him. I feel like with this circuit, especially with the amount of silence we had, one thing we all noticed was how much there was going on. No matter what position you were on track or where you were, there was always a car in front, behind, a GT3 looking to lap, or a GT4 going slowly and whatnot. So it was chaotic at the best of times, I think, as we see Joe Dorber in a Ferrari, not a Nissan GTR. I was quite disappointed. Coming through Knickerbocker. That's a BMW off.
That was Martin Loring.
Yeah,
he's
off.
The M6. We saw he had an incident at the very end of the previous race. He was struggling with that section of corners, but to end up to the right of the circuit outside, he's dropped now back towards pretty much the back of the field, and that's pretty big for the championship. This is our championship leader after all, and he's gonna have a heck of a time making his way back up the field. But I am curious to see how he ended up there. Hopefully, maybe we can get a replay, but hopefully, maybe all the technology works. Never mind. Technology.
I think he just went off, guys. I don't think there was contact.
I think they are quite sensitive to the curbs, people were saying. Some of the GT cars, especially the older ones, as Kerrigan slips up the inside of Sergio in the Porsche. It's really hard to make a move through Ireland.
It doesn't look crazy, Callum, though. That's the thing that I think if you've never raced here in these cars, it's hard to explain why every time we come through Island Bend, I think we all recoil slightly when they're side by side. It looks academic. It isn't. It's very difficult. And when they make it round, they make it look incredibly easy. The reality is that is one of the most toe-curling, like sort of tense moments that you can have. The only thing I can equate it to, it's like going through Maggots and Beckett's, going through the corkscrew, or going up Eau Rouge Radion. It's the same sort of thing.
It's blind in the same sense because of the barriers and the radius of the corner, and then there's only one line through there realistically. And it's one of them corners where when you start the turn and you start the input, you're committed to that line. So if you've got someone on your inside, you have to work out, because you don't really go around the outside of that corner very much. So it's not gripped up as Martin Lawrence right up behind Malcolm in the Porsche. He was hustling through there, a bit of GT traffic, bringing them closer together. A bit of GT4 traffic, which I've got to navigate in front of them as well now. But there's one line through that corner, so if you're trying to commit to go around the outside or down the inside of another car, it's different to the flow that you've taken every other time, as we see Maserati off on the left hand side.
Oh, I was worried that something was going to happen. Yeah, that was Malcolm trying to make his way around.
Most of them saved it.
The wall. No, he's tapped the wall there. Malcolm has.
I was going to say, that was a lot of cars coming into not a lot of space. You can see He's trying. Oh, it's
Ah,
just.
he
It's,
flashed. It's
I think I know
Oh,
exactly
big
what
hit.
happened there. So the green Maserati came back onto the circuit. They were wide, forcing the Porsche to move over into where Matt Malcolm was. He didn't know that was happening because ultimately he can't see outside of his own car. So just it was 3 into 1 into 14 different cars. Fortunately, I'd say getting
narrow
away with that
circuit.
reasonably well. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
we've been
narrow
remarking
circuit.
about the
It's really
narrowness.
hard.
Oh, the circuit.
Oh,
That's Nico Kumpu into Tom Watts there.
It's a narrow circuit. It's blind through a lot of corners, through a lot of press as well, especially up this back section as well, coming up towards Druids. So it's really difficult for the GT cars. I mean, we all in the GT4s, turned our mirrors up to the maximum amount of view distance. I think Rybecki just using a bit more of the gravel, and there's a Ferrari
that's
as well
Peter
on the left-hand
Varga.
side there. That had damage earlier on the stream. I noticed when I joined, so maybe just another insult to add to injury there for Peter Varga. But yeah, it's really difficult for the GT cars. We all turned our mirrors up to the full view distances to try and help as much as possible. But even still, the closing speed's massive, especially for a lot of the high speed. So it's difficult for these guys in GT4s to get out of the way. And when you add a rejoining car to that as well, in sort of one of the trickiest parts of the circuit, with all of them cars so close together, it's just, like you said, Jack, you could see it was going to happen before it happened.
Yeah, and here we're back to the fight that ended the race last time round, though fortunately, Jesse, this time, they both have fuel in them for the moment.
Well,
this is a Raphael Huel. For the moment.
Presume.
We
Yeah,
presume.
No, you're right. Yeah. We presume they have enough fuel to go to the end this time, but also, yes, at the moment they certainly do. Matt Malcolm, by the way, has brought his damaged 199 Porsche to the pit lane for repairs. Certainly suspension damage on that car. Sideways, I think that's the 51 or 59. I do believe, and it was the 51. We're going to take another look here coming out. Oh,
Yeah,
the chicane. You know they do. That's not a Porsche, by the way. That is an Aston Martin, but side profile from that zoomed in look, they looked quite the same indeed. Now what's happened here? Oh, a little bit of a twitch by the 258, and yeah, just that's the view we had flying by. But yes, the fight for P3 in GT4 well and truly on, not missing anything up front. Krexke continues to lead Baddock by about 4 seconds. Polyakov about the same gap to Picciano in GT4. Here's a fight for 6th place. Actually, yeah, that was a fight for 6th place in GT3. Kumpu and Roscom right behind him. Imoplata and Jackson, 2 fights here going on at the same time. And here's McKenna McConnell, the most improved driver in RCI history, came from finishing next to last in the AM split all the way to fighting for Pro Series podiums. Looking at the back of Joe Dauber, that 999, I think they have another shot at another top 4 here.
I think maybe, though, it's going to take some doing to get past the likes of Joe Dauber. I mean, I will say I don't think McKenna's maybe had as much wheel-to-wheel with Dauber as perhaps her husband has had, so maybe a little bit of coaching could be given, maybe a bit of shared experience. I don't know, but McKenna McConnell doing an absolutely stellar job. I feel like, Jesse, you're a little bit less on the nose than I was last week referring
I don't
to
know
this driver.
what you are talking about. That is McKenna McConnell.
Yes, it's good to see. It's good to see an American flag next to a driver on track. It's good to bald eagles and such.
Yeah, something 1776. Joe
Very
Dauber
American
continues.
box I've joined here, isn't it?
I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about. But driving away there was Joe Dauber just a little bit as they hit the pit straight that time. Back to Raphael Huel. This is the fight for 3rd. Boardman has it. Huel wants it. And I will say, Raphael Huel, quite a patient individual here when they're in the hunt, and they've been like this for several laps. Never mind the Lexus behind. I do believe that's the 2nd place car of Andre Baddock, and it is, and Baddock's gonna mobile
Ooh.
chicane before they get to Brenton's
So the
chicane.
Oh,
And that
moment
could
for
have been
Huell.
the opportunity that Raphael Huell was looking for, and it was. Baddock coming through upsets Boardman, and Huell comes through. P3 for Huell.
I get to say my favorite thing. Yeah, is absolutely upset. But multi-class giveth, gentlemen, and multi-class taketh away. They've been doing such a good job dealing with traffic. I mean, there's been the hits here and there, a couple, threes into fours and fours into threes and the like. But given the difficulty of this circuit, they're doing a really, really phenomenal job. A drive-through penalty for Bruno Fantozzi further down the field, but Orban now just trying to bounce back. But Calamini, you're familiar with the circuit. You've been here a time or two. The racing mechanic that you are, Martin Lorick, though, is having a look. But if you were a driver and you were sizing up a move, as perhaps you could have been, Calamini, in the previous race, what's your go-to spot? Where are you looking for to make an overtake?
I made a couple down towards turn 1. It's normally the easiest because you can take multiple lines through there and be okay. I avoided Island like the plague, but and then the last corner, really, focusing on a good exit out Druids as Lorick goes to the ground.
Oh, we're not done here. We're not done here. He's gone.
Side to Island, down into Shell Oil.
Surely not.
A hip and shoulder from the GTR, but I think that will just ebb back the way it came. And we end up all square, but Lorick really looking quite racy here. As
this is the reverse of race number 1.
Through Jackson, but Lorick trying to make the most of it, just trying to gain a few spots. We've still got 8.5 minutes left, so. But obviously, he's our championship leader, like we said earlier, so he's trying to minimise the damage as much as possible. I think we all said how quick the M6 was in a straight line, which helped down at round 1, but Oulton Park, it's a bit more of a flowy circuit. You're more focused on the handling characteristics of the car. That M6, it ain't the best as they slide past Boardman. Nothing really gained or lost for either of them. But Boardman's lost a lot out to Huell now he's got past, hasn't he, really? Maybe a little bit more traffic, like you say, Jack, giveth and taketh away, but staying within touching distance, but he's just losing time.
Oh, he's right there. Oh, he's got the sniff. He's going around the outside. Could he possibly make this happen? I don't think so. Jackson holds strong. He's going to defend, but the cutback, he's going to be on the wrong side of the track, but he's got to give him room still. Lawrence side by side. Oh, this is going to be close indeed. Jackson's got to get really tight on the binders, and he does. Both cars wiggle as they go through. That was absolutely incredible driving, and we're still side by side.
But John's completely on the floor. Eric Jackson, elbows out. Martin Lorick, he's gonna have to fit his car.
Is he gonna shoot the gap? He is gonna shoot the gap. I love it, man. That's my favorite.
He's done it.
As somebody who can't drive to save his own life, I'm used to finding that particular hole going into Shell Oils.
It is the most puckering thing in motorsport. I was going to say as well, I watched the Ginetta GT race, Ginetta Junior race. One of the teams I work for has done very well in that series at the minute, and they were at Oulton Park today, and they've reprofiled that curve on the left of the first chicane, the first part of it, to now be more like a table. And there were Ginettas with all 4 wheels off the ground as they went through there. Fortunately, we still run the old system here, but yeah, it was interesting at best. I think quite a few people complaining about how their cars took the curves in the little break we had between the races, where everyone was getting water and drinks to try and cool themselves down, seeing if there are any more fans in the loft. But everyone complaining about the heat, especially those in the UK today, because it is an absolute heat wave here. It was a very difficult race. I'm very glad it landed on the 30-minute races and not the full half hour, so we did have a little bit of a time to breathe in between. But we're seeing Tom Watt ahead there now of the 876, the Alpine. So that is a move for 27th overall. Sorry, and we'll see if the Alpine will try and fight it back here. But it seems to have settled down a little bit now, just for this moment while we're looking at these two cars. But I'm sure we'll cut back to some absolute carnage, as is Oulton Park multi-class. But it's so nice to see. I mean, there are a lot of these drivers that are in the chat that we were talking to just before I jumped in here, haven't either raced with us for a while or raced in the very early days of RCI ACC, and it's so nice to see such a busy circuit for an ACC race. I think, you know, we're going out, but we're going out in style on the ACC Mondays.
Yeah, and as a reminder, we say this is the finale of ACC on RCI Mondays specifically. It does not mean that we will never come back to ACC. It doesn't mean that we are retiring it and putting it in a coffin and throwing it off a bridge or something drastic like that. But the Monday Championship, which has been the ACC staple here on RCI, is no longer going to be on ACC. We are moving on to greener pastures. That is all I will say, because I've been instructed not to do my usual thing, which is telling everybody what's going to happen next when I'm not supposed to. I've been instructed that I won't do it yet, probably by the end of the season.
I can tell you what the drivers wanted in the pre-race practice voice chat.
That's true. Everybody wants a 24-hour Nürburgring,
which was a Nürburgring endurance. Yeah. So maybe we'll have to see. Maybe Kevin and Jesse and everyone could get their heads together and work something out.
I would love one last hurrah. Maybe not on a Monday, because like 24-hour on a Monday would be crazy. But one last Nürburgring multi-class, as many cars as you can fit on the grid. Invite everybody, not just RCI people that are here every week, everyone to come to RCI, because we've done it before. I think we've had 70 up to upwards of 100 cars in the past, that way back in the day when ACC was just coming out. And because I remember marveling at the fact that the sim can just kind of do that.
I mean, I remember doing the RCI esports back when I did my first stint in commentary with you, Jesse, and just how many people there were, as we see an Alpine going slowly there. I think maybe just having some struggles and then getting out of the way because the GT
957's off in shell. That's Richard Whittle. I imagine they've found the barrier down there.
Richard was struggling in the first race as well, so might be more pain for him. We'll have to see. Kresko's still out front. Andre Bajtek 1.8 behind now, and then Badowski another further 4 seconds behind that, and McKenna still trying to chase down Joe Norma here.
Maybe we can see. Was there a bit of? There's help.
No.
There's help. Clifford Morgan.
100 Ferrari.
Yeah. Just
that
all
is
over the
a
place.
strike.
Yeah. Oh, it was a nice shot, but no, Clifford Morgan seeming like, yes, they are starting from the back of the grid. Yes, it was an unfortunate disqualification in qualifying. Apparently, it tried to be overturned, but it wasn't able to be done in time of the race. So having to start from the back of the field already is difficult enough, but it doesn't seem to be getting easier. Andrzej Bacek, though, he's closing the gap in the final few moments. I would like to apologize because I've completely forgotten to mention, speaking of all the old cars and some of them doing surprisingly well, there is a bit of a custom BOP that we are running. I'm not sure who made it, but the goal is to ultimately make it so every car is reasonably competitive.
I believe it's the LFM, the most up-to-date LFM BOP.
Yes, but there's a custom bop on a lot of the older cars that are never raced. Like I think the Jag has got a bit of work done to it, the M6, the V12 Vantage, the likes of such. So it is built off of the LFM bop.
Folks,
good one.
We go down to, I think, 2 laps to go now?
Yeah, I was just going to say, we've got 2 laps to go. I was timing it to the line, and I was wondering if it was going to be 1 or 2. It's going to be 2. Martin Lawrence trying to make up for some of that lost time. A little bit of I would say a shunt. Doesn't even make the pass there. Just arrived with the better brakes to the corner. Yeah, no further harm or foul.
I will tell you, in qualifying as well, there was a bit of drama that I don't know if the broadcast picked up or not in the GT4 field. Right at the start, someone took the cut through to get onto a lap earlier, which we weren't sure if it was allowed, and Kevin wasn't 100% sure, and obviously Kevin was driving.
Here's the thing.
We weren't confident in that, but that might result in something later down the line, but I think it's something that's going to have to get looked at or something, but
I am not in control.
We weren't quite sure, and I don't know if the comms box saw it.
We didn't see that, but I'm not in control of how we view that, though I am quite certain there isn't a rule specifically against that. Now, does that count as leaving the track to gain an advantage, though? Which is in the rule
Yes.
book. That's the
And
very interesting
we
thing.
were not
But there is no
sure, and
specific rule.
Kevin held off because one, he was trying to set a lap.
No,
and
I
two,
think that's fair.
He was not
Yep.
sure on what was happening, but I think it will be a discussion that probably will have to be had. It's one of those sort of unique things of Oulton as we go on to the final lap. Adam Kresko still being hunted down by Andre Bajtak. He's closed up about 8/10 in the past couple of minutes, so maybe trying to make a late charge, but I think without some traffic help, guys, he might be a bit too far back.
Yeah, one mistake by Krexke here, and then Baddock will be all over him. But you're asking a driver to make a mistake that hasn't really made one all race. And look at Andre Baddock doing everything, flashing the lights, trying to get in the head of Krexke, but it's not really working. The gap going back the other way on the final lap of round number 2. It's been a picture-perfect day for Krexke, and the same could be said for Polyakov as well in GT4. Picciano needed a rebound race, and they've certainly got that. They're going to probably end up P2 here. Boardman several seconds down. The real fight in GT3 is exactly the one we showed you there with Dauber. But here is Nikolai Polyakov, the Armamentario number 40. They'll come across. Where are they? So they're on the final lap as well now, coming through Shell Oils. And the leader coming through Druids for the final time to get the checkered flag. Meanwhile, Dauber continues to be hounded by McKenna McConnell, and this will come down to the last, surely. I think maybe just enough gap for Dauber there, as Krexke will come across the line to pull off the double. It's another win. Andre Baddock in P2, Marco Badowski, the Team Monkey Audi in third. Dauber beats McConnell for the top 5. Kumpu, Roskam, Blakta, Lawrence, Rybecki, your top 10. Polyakov coming across the line shortly.
Yeah, and something I noticed that penultimate lap, Aaron Jackson, he had some sort of incident. I think it was at Lodge. He was in 9th. He is now in 11th position. So Aaron Jackson not quite getting that improvement off of qualifying. He's going to have to settle for 11th.
Oh, scary moment.
A little bit of drama to end off the race, but is going to do the double as well. 2 for 2, race 1, race 2 victory. Picano, as you said, Jesse, that rebound drive coming across the line in 2nd position, and we must have missed it. Actually, no, we didn't miss it. We absolutely saw it. A bit of multi-class giving Raphael Huell the look to get through and stay through on Andy Boardman for a podium finish. Another 4th position finish for Boardman. Miso Stubna, again, the Camaro coming across in 5th. Redford in 6th position in GT4. And now we're waiting on Tom Winch, Henrik SC, and Kevin Boss to cross the line. The Ginettas went pretty well, I think, this evening. Maybe a bit better than they did at Silverstone, but our track day hero, Henrik SC, a little bit less drama than race 1. Just a little bit less drama, but they're going to come across the line. Kevin Boss, fortunately as well, a little bit less drama than with race 1. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for race 2. Can we do a race 3 maybe, please? I'm sure the drivers would be up for that.
No, it's too warm. We're all sweating. I think everyone needs to go and take in fluids and sit in front of a cold fan for about an hour now. I mean, I've sat down for the last 25 minutes and not even driven, and I'm still warm. It was a tough race physically for everyone. Who says sim racing isn't hard?
Oh, it absolutely is. But rewarding.
Callum, yeah, it sure is. Callum Kerwin, thank you for coming and sitting in on Monday Champ, as you have done throughout your entire career here with RCI. Unfortunately, it came at the expense of your race, but it was nice to have your insight and your commentary in race number 2. Thanks for coming out and spending a little bit of time with us in the box.
Thanks for having me. I will see if I can get these paddles sorted for the next round. If not, who knows? Might be back again. But no, cheers for having me, guys. Thanks for entertaining me for the second race, because I didn't really fancy sitting there and just staring at a blank pit lane. But I'll let you get on with all the drivers that are coming to interviews. Big congrats to everyone today as well. And I will see you all very soon, I believe.
You better. That was Callum Kerwin, ladies and gentlemen. The one half of the annoying pain in our butts this evening who have the same name, drove the same car, and really tried to throw us for a loop. But I'd say we got out of that. We dodged their plan reasonably well, Jesse. But an
Well, you know what they
excellent,
say,
excellent pair of races.
fool me once, shame on me, right? And they
Uh-huh.
got me. They got me the one time. I heard you talk about they had the same livery, and I uh, I still fell for it. But I wised up to their game. I just got to stay on my game. But good race number two. I would say race one was absolutely the more chaotic of the two. Race two was pretty much exactly what you would expect, some mid to late race drama indeed. But this start was absolutely incredible. It's been a while since I've got to do this, but we're going to go down to the pit lane and get the Varga report. Tell us about your race and your view from a chaotic Oulton Park.
Uh, well, firstly, I was here just for the vibes and laughs, considering that I signed up in the 488, which kind of already was outdated when the game came out of early access. So yeah, and I knew that Oulton Park is my worst circuit when it comes to speed. So I was just like, hey, that's a fun. I'm here for the memories and the the nostalgia of the times when all of this started.
Well, it's absolutely lovely to have you on a grid. I mean, it wouldn't be the same without Peter Varga. We're talking to Peter Varga, by the way, for those of you that didn't catch the meeting. It has been a while since we have done the Varga report, or actually, I'm not the one that does the Varga report. Peter Varga does the Varga report. I set up the Varga report just to let everyone know how it works. But of course, longtime driver here at RCI, not just on Mondays, but of course, ACC driver. Well, I mean, what's your prospect, Peter? I got to ask for the next 6 rounds or so of this championship. How's it looking?
Just come in, get into the car, and drive. I don't have any prospects for the championship. Like I'm taking this some of the others that have decided to choose the first car they draw or the old car they always want to drive. So for me, it's just as a farewell to because I'm also using the very first livery that I ever created for my racing team. Which, funny enough, I entered with my friend into an endurance race where we managed to score a podium out of nowhere. So yeah, it's almost exactly the same. Some some sponsors have moved around here and there, but it's basically the same. Even the old number and maybe something you noticed also the old team name that we used back then. So it's mostly just that, just the memories of the past. Also sitting in a voice chat with our group, which has not happened for a long time, and having fun.
A lot of memories here on the Monday Champ. Peter, anybody you want to shout out before we go?
Shout out to the HSP crew who I've started all of this with and have been very entertaining today.
Well, there you go. Peter Varga, the Varga report for round number 2. And I hear that Jack is down with Will Stevenson. Take it away.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. 2 weeks in a row to speak to, honestly, possibly just my favorite driver of the whole thing. We don't pull favorites, but I have such a love for the Jag, and it's absolutely a fan favorite as a comms favorite, and a busy evening for you for sure. Just give me your thoughts on tonight as a whole.
I mean, completely intentional. Starting from the back. Yep, went very well. That first race was fun. I got a top 10, so that's the aim for the championship. At least one down, and then it was entertaining making the way through the GT4s. Yeah, on skill alone.
Yeah, yeah, we had figured because we noticed doing the Ash Baby patented drone cam grid walk. We were sort of getting to the back of the field, and I was like, wait a minute, why is there a Jag here? I had thought maybe by chance you had intentionally disconnected and reconnected for fun.
I
Though
think if I was going to do that any track, I probably wouldn't have chosen
Oulton. Yes, very good point. But Callum Kerr when he came in after his technical or hardware issue, and he joined us in the box. He corrected and was like, "Yeah, it was definitely an unintentional disconnection for sure." But I will say, we watched quite a bit of you making your way through the GC4 field in race 2. You did a really good job. I was actually very impressed how quickly you did it, how safely you did it, and was it was a top 10 in or what did you end up finishing? What, 11th, 12th in race 2? There were a lot of
12th
late
in
race
race 2.
shenanigans. 12th in race 2, but the top 10, like you said, I feel it would be pointless to ask you about your championship prospects.
What do
It's
you mean?
the
I'm still going
Jag.
for the championship, obviously.
Okay, fine. All right, well, you tell me. How are you feeling about the championship coming out of
I
round
mean,
2?
I'm going to win the next 7 races. I was just going to have a head start, so, you know, we give them some hope before you decimate. Yeah, that's going to happen.
I think so. I think work again this week on trying to get your way to pole position just by asking.
I think I might need another 100 kilograms off the car, but we can do that, right, guys?
Maybe. I won't object by any measure. I mean, there's always hope. But I know you were a bit disappointed that there wasn't a lot of accidents in race 2. You were hoping to maybe get a few freebies off of that, but I mean,
yeah,
I think a good race all the way.
I had my own accident myself. I decided that curves weren't for me anymore and spun, so that was fun. I did almost kill a Janetta, so apologies to whoever that was. I think I may have tried to get the car restarted a bit too quick, but luckily I didn't hit him, so I didn't hit anything actually today, which I'm pretty proud of, other than on the first race, which I don't think I could have done much of.
I mean, hitting nothing coming off of a night in Oulton is very impressive if that stat is indeed true. Other than lap 1, race 1, of course, which yes, I agree, not much she could have done about that one. But no, I think it sounds like a couple races to be reasonably proud of. Of course, the man, the myth, the Jaguar driving legend, Will Stevenson. Any shout outs before you go?
As always, to you guys for putting on this show. It's always good to rewatch the streams and everything. The drivers, it's really nice to see 37 people, especially for Oulton Park. Obviously, it causes absolute carnage, but it's always great fun and just making your way through the traffic. Yeah, and to whoever made the Jaguar a thing of first place in this game.
I think everybody needs to thank whoever was in charge of the ACC Jaguar creation project. But thank you for being here, Will. As I said in round 1, and as you also echoed, that you're probably going to be here every time, and we're going to be happy to talk to you at the end of the race.
You'll eventually speak to me, and I'll probably be off in a wall somewhere, but hopefully that won't happen in another few rounds.
Well, best of luck in round 3. I'm sure we'll talk to you after that, and have a good week leading up to it, of course. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Lee, I think you have a Mr. Huel with you, making his grand return to Mondays.
Yeah, I sure do. I'm down here with Raphael Huel. Huel, you provided some excitement in both races, sort of to your detriment and to your gain in certain cases. Talk us through race number 1 first, and then that epic pass while a GT3 was working you guys over. You were able to get it done for a podium in round number 2. It was all very exciting to watch.
Yeah, race 1, I managed to get P2 after the start, and then was just keeping the Alpine behind, which, holy rapid, it was really hard, and he pushed me really to my limits, which then resulted in a GT. But I think drivers underestimated how much fuel we need, and my extra safety lap that I put in all the races worked out well. I think I gained 4 or 5 spots just from fuel. Yeah, and then race 2 had another amazing battle with Boardman. Then I was just waiting for any mistake or anything that happens, because Oulton is a track that is really hard to overtake at. And in that case, tiny touch of the curb, that's all it took.
Well, what's your prospects? Are you here for the entire season now in GT4, or was this sort of a limited start?
No, I'm here all the way now. This is a stacked grid. I'm excited to have really good racing in GT4 and make it a good last championship.
Well, you came into the day in the top 5 in the championship. You've done nothing but help yourself today at Oulton Park. Is that a bit surprising that you came off this good at Oulton Park, a place known for its chaos with big grids like this?
I came in with the expectation that there will be chaos. I didn't expect this little chaos, I have to say. Like multiple big crashes at T1 were on the agenda, as far as I thought, but that didn't really happen.
Well, you're well and truly in the championship hunt now. We look forward to charting your progress the rest of the season. You'll, I gotta say again, you're part of the furniture here at RCI, so it wouldn't be a championship without you. So appreciate you being here, and good luck continuing this excellent run. Anyone you want to shout out?
At the hope that I don't sound like a broken record, you guys just organizing this championship, commentating, amazing streams all the time, and also the drivers. It's great to see such a big turnout for an ACC championship, and I hope it stays that way.
Here, here. Pleasure is all ours. Raphael Huell, a couple of excellent finishes today, puts himself firmly in the GT4 championship hunt. Now down to Jack, who's caught up with Kevin Boss.
Kevin, the man who is very much responsible for this championship, very much responsible for the Mondays, has been for a good long while. It wasn't easy out there tonight. It was. I mean, I know I was hoping for you after what happened in round 1 with the technical issues with your hardware not being able to start the formation lap and ultimately having to start the race from pit lane. I was hoping maybe fortunes might flip around this time, but wasn't easy out there.
No, and it's basically been like you've been a part of it. You know that the last couple of races days that I've had stupid mistakes by myself. I've had bad luck, like all just plummeting down on me. And I was hoping like today, because in practice earlier, like I was putting in good laps. I was hoping for something good, and then the actual race surface starts and I'm nowhere. Like in the actual quali, I was a second slower than what I did in practice. So, that already put me on the back foot. And then, yeah, race 1 lap 1 starts, and for some reason I decided to put my rear wheels into the grass, which is great.
Yeah, we've all been there. I mean, I've been there. You and I, we race pretty much every weekend. We're spending, 6+ hours in a car together on some circuit, and it's super super difficult when you get in that funk to get out of it. I mean, do you have a plan, or I mean, no, you really have never planned for good or bad luck, but do you sort of are you maybe thinking through a way to turn it around, or are you just sort of gonna let the hands of fate have their way with you?
Wow, you're not even saying that race 2 went better. Wow. I thought race 2 already got me out of there, so I hope that continues now. And otherwise, yeah, you just need to, give yourself a little bit of space with racing, and then also just keep plowing on, because otherwise you're never going to get out of it if you just stop. So, yeah, I hope race 2, like I did have the contact there with Callum, but yeah, I think first I think he tried to squeeze back in behind Tom Watts, and then I was there already in turn 1, and then going towards Cascades. I tried to keep the car as right as I could, but with the way the track bumps around, so I could not move more to the right. So yeah, that was a bit sad there, but otherwise, yeah, I was happy with race 2. So I think that's where I start pulling myself out the slump.
Yeah, no, you make a fantastic point. You are only as good as your last race, as they say, and you definitely came a lot better race 2 than race 1, and I hope that you continue out of that slump for my sake as much as for your own.
Yeah.
But no, it's such wonderful to have you here. We would be nowhere without the wheelie slow car, as Jesse's saying. There's so many drivers here that are as much a part of their names, their teams are as much a part of the race as the actual events themselves. And for you putting these on for so long has been great. By no means, just to be clear, am I saying Kevin is going away? Kevin's not getting fired. He's not going anywhere. It's just the ACC Monday journey is coming to the end. But anyone you want to shout out, Kevin, before you go?
Well, now that you say that, I do want to make sure that people know, like, this is not the end of RCI Mondays. It's just ACC on Mondays. We definitely have things in the pipeline for the future. So, yeah, it is sad to see ACC go, but yeah, it's just great that everyone, all the classic drivers from years past here in RCI are coming back for this final one, and it's just great to see a stacked grid as it is, even though that many cars at a track like Oulton is, as we saw, quite tight. Um, so yeah, I think next round Spa will be a lot better. But yeah, it's great to see everyone, and I hope these amount of numbers will continue through the whole champ.
Hopefully, my fingers are crossed, and as you said, Spa will be, I think, very different from Oulton this week, but I don't think it will be any less exciting. I think we're going to have a stellar championship. So, Kevin, thank you for joining us in the box. Thank you for joining us on staff. Thank you for joining us on circuit. You, my friend, have a wonderful evening, Mr. Jesse Lee. I think we are getting ready to come to a close on tonight's program. Any words, any thoughts, any classic Jesse isms,
Well, I think
Lee-isms, perhaps?
I think patent pending, trademark. You know what though, I think we saw two great races, and I think what we thought we were going to see was almost a demolition derby style event with that many cars, nearly 40 cars around Alton Park in multiple classes never goes well. But I think the drivers showed us something tonight that we aren't really used to seeing. We saw a lot of restraint, we saw a lot of great racing, and yes, some wrecks in there as well. That's part of the business. But race number two, especially, very clean start and just some fantastic battles that came down to the last of the last. And even in race one, three wide coming to the line, absolutely incredible stuff. And it's only going to get better from here. Next week on RCI Mondays, continuation of Mini British GT coming to you live from Spa Francorchamps, and that is going to be one heck of a round with so many cars going around there. Next broadcast on RCI TV is Friday, of course. Mini, or not mini, it's multi sprint. Both of them start with an N. It's an M, rather. I graduated. It's confusing. It is, however, the multi sprint for LMU on Friday. Continuing coverage of that live here on RCI TV. We'll, of course, see you next Monday for Spa Francorchamps from the Mini British GT Championship. And last but not least, a big thank you to all of our partners that make this race and every race possible. Green Man Gaming, Ready Set Sim, Moser Racing, IMB Raceware, Pimax, Coach Dave, Delta, and a special shout out to Motorsport UK for recommending us as an esports community. A lot of great racing is my takeaway from today, Jack. Just fantastic to be here. Fantastic to see ACC still getting big numbers.
Oh, it's going to be a wonderful championship. I cannot say that enough. I know that it's going to be a good send off. Everybody's here to have a lot of fun, and we will continue to bring you coverage as we're able, because I look forward to this every week. I will continue to look forward to this every week, and we would be nowhere, of course, with our wonderful drivers. So thank you again to all of them. We would also be incredibly bored without our wonderful viewers who are in chat and supporting us elsewhere. Of course, if you want to join us any of these championships, join the Discord. Every bit of information you need is going to be there. And other than that, that will bring our show to a close. I hope you have a wonderful and safe week if you are from the US of A. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day. I think there's a bank holiday in the UK, but I'm not bothered with any of that noise because America or something. Be safe, be good to yourself. We will see you on Friday for some action on LMU, and we look forward to all of it. Be safe, be good, and we will talk to you all later.
You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Get behind the wheel, let's go. Grip the road, feel the flow. Thunder roaring, steel alive. Live this dream and drive. Tires burning with gasoline. Push the limits, chasing green. One shot, don't slow. Go on, we'll take control. Engines scream alive tonight. Blazing past the red line. Outrun the night, won't lose this fight. Follow the road, red line for show. We're chasing taillights, don't let go. Under the stars, we'll go so far. This is who we are. Chasing taillights. Chasing taillights. Chasing taillights. We're chasing taillights. The miles they fade, but they don't die. Faster now, the hours fly by. Sweat and gears, hearts in sync. On the edge, on the brink. Clock ticks down, stakes are high. One mistake, we kiss us goodbye. Don't slow down, we're not done.